What's up, YouTube? This is Too Raw for TV. All right, so I want to go ahead and continue with this list of top role players in the history of the NBA. And just do a brief recap. At number 10, I had AC Green. At number 9, I had Draymond Green. At number 8, Frank Ramsey. Number 7, Danny Ainge. Number 6, Lamar Odom. Number 5, I had Michael Cooper. At number 4, I have the Minister of Defense, Bobby Jones. And I guess I wouldn't be surprised a lot of younger people don't even know who some of these people are. And that's just a testament to how terrible a job the NBA is doing right now of putting out the history of the NBA. You might know some of the stars, but you don't know some of these role players. And role players are essential for winning championships. You have to have great role players. And if you don't, you're not going to win a championship for the most part. Unless you just have a super overpowered, like Jordan-esque player who can just carry an average roster to a title, maybe. But anyway, Bobby Jones is best known for his, I think it's his 8-year career. Yeah, I think he played 8 years. His 8-year career with the Philadelphia 76ers. He started his career with the ABA, he played with the Denver Nuggets. And he was known for his selflessness, his hard work ethic, his religious beliefs, and he was known for being a totally team-orientated player who was not interested in scoring or glory or none of that. He kind of, you look at some of the things that he was about, you kind of look at him as the antithesis of Dennis Rodman, personality-wise. But they had similarities as far as how they played the game. Dennis Rodman did not care about scoring. All he cared about was rebounding and defense. Bobby Jones was not the rebounder, obviously, that Dennis Rodman was, but he was a great defender. He was a good rebounder and a good shot blocker and an overall great defender. Such a great defender that he was on 8 consecutive all-defensive teams, if I'm not mistaken. Bobby Jones was born back in 1951, and he was born in Charlotte, North Carolina. And interestingly enough, Bobby Jones was not very interested in basketball. It didn't really interest him. But his father made him play basketball. And because of his work ethic, his belief in work ethic, he tried his best at basketball, even though he did not have a passion for it. Incidentally, I want to mention something before I forget it. Bobby Jones played his entire career with a heart condition. I believe it's a condition similar to what I have. I think it was atrial fibrillation, which is a condition where your heart sometimes beat out of sync, and it can be controlled by medication. It's usually harmless. If left uncontrolled, it can raise your risk of having a stroke. But generally speaking, it's very controllable. And he played most of his career with that problem. Larry Bird had the same issue that was undiagnosed for many years until after, I think, he retired from basketball. And anyway, in high school, Jones discovered a love for track and field. And although he was very talented in this profession, his father pushed him back onto the court. By his senior year of high school, Jones accepted a basketball scholarship from the University of North Carolina. Though he did not enjoy the sport as much as track, he accepted the scholarship in order to receive a free college education. He excelled at the University of North Carolina, and after his sophomore year, his coach, the legendary Dean Smith, encouraged him to try out for the 1972 Olympic team. Well, not only did Bobby Jones earn a spot on the team, but he played 5 minutes of the historic game against the Soviet Union when the U.S. lost the gold medal. After finishing his psychology degree in 1974, Jones was drafted into the ABA by the Denver Nuggets. And following the merger of the ABA and NBA, Jones stayed with the Nuggets one more season before he was traded to the Philadelphia 76ers for the 1978-79 season. And it was there, due to the fact that they had a star-laden starting five, he came off the bench. And he was a welcome addition to the Philadelphia 76ers because they needed a player like him. Philly, from an offensive standpoint, was very, very talented, obviously. You know, you had Julius Erving. Even though he was in decline, you had George McGinnis, I think, still there. You know, you had Daryl Dawkins. You know, you had Maurice Cheeks, and you know, you had a lot of talented players on that roster from an offensive standpoint. Andrew Toney, et cetera, et cetera. But they needed a little bit of help on the defensive end. They needed more defensive players. They needed help with defense, and they needed a little bit more help with rebounding. And especially you know, I would say rebounding needed a little bit more help in that department. And they also needed to bolster up their bench. So Bobby Jones was the perfect fit for that. So even though Bobby Jones came off the bench, he still played about 25, 26 minutes a game. And he was a great influencer on that team, too. A great influencer. When you have a guy that goes out there and plays as hard as he does, gives you 110%, that influences other guys to go out there and play harder as well. And as a testament to his hard work, it belied results. The 6'9", 210-pound Bobby Jones, who primarily played power forward. His resume includes an NBA championship back in 1983. He was a 4-time All-Star. 2 times for the Nuggets, 1977 and 78, and 2 times for the Sixers, 1981 and 82. He was on 8 consecutive all-defensive first teams. This from a role player for the 1976-77 season to the 1983-84 season. He was on the NBA all-defensive second team in 1985. And he won the Sixth Man of the Year award in 1983. He was an ABA All-Star with the Denver Nuggets back in 1976, All-ABA Second Team 1976, 2 times ABA All-Defensive First Team 75 and 76, ABA All-Rookie First Team 1975. His number 24 is retired by the Philadelphia 76ers. And for his career, he averaged 12.1 points, 6.1 rebounds, 2.7 assists. And he was voted into the Naismith Memorial Basketball Hall of Fame. I believe it was back in 2019. He won the silver in Munich in 1972. For his career, he shot 56% from the floor. And for a role player, he had a career PER rating of 18.2. Contrast that to Draymond Green, whose PER, I think, is like 10 or 11 or something. something to that effect. Bobby Jones' best numbers, as far as his career is concerned, were from 1974 to 1982. During that stint, he averaged 14 points, 7.2 rebounds, 3 assists, 1.7 steals, 1.6 blocks, 57% shooting from the floor, and 75% from the line. So he was a guy who was a good rebounder. He could pass. He could shot block. He could get into the passing lane for steals. He was a great on-ball defender. He was a great help defender. He was a pressure defender. Um, you know, because of his height, being 6'9", he could guard usually forwards, small forwards, and power forwards, but at times he could guard centers. And he could even, for some sequences, guard guards. He was a very welcome addition to the Sixers team, and he's one of those guys that don't get talked about much, probably because of his personality. He's very religious. As a matter of fact, at one point in time, he thought about quitting basketball and going into the clergy. He was crazy honest. Like, he was way too honest for most basketball, I would say for most coaches' tastes. He would, a lot of guys, they try to convince refs that he didn't commit a foul. Well, Bobby Jones would say, nah, that wasn't such and such. I committed the foul. And sometimes the officials would overturn the calls because of his reputation for honesty. But anyway, number 4, I got the great Bobby Jones. Tell me what you guys think.